Namaste everybody, Hare Krishna. Very nice to see you today. Okay, so we have just 1 minute to go and we'll wait for a few more people to join. We'll start at 5 p.m. sharp. Okay. All right. So I think as the summer is getting better in Scotland, more and more people are on holiday, I think. And there's very few people here in the class. Hare Krishna Kumarji. Very nice to have you. Hare Krishna. Namaste. Okay, it's time for us to start the meeting. So just give me a moment and I would start sharing my screen. Okay. So as usual, like we do our prayers. Before starting the class, I request for your blessings and prayers so that whatever I may speak today should be in accordance with what Lord Krishna has spoken to Arjuna 5,000 years back and what has been passed through the guru disciplic succession, through the disciplic succession that is called the Guru Shishya Parampara. So I hope that I'm able to deliver that message unaltered. And I humbly request for your prayers and blessings so that I may be able to do this. And like I always begin, I'll start with my prayers. I request you all to pray with me as well, so that, we can start the session on a great note. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा। Warm welcome to everyone who has joined us today. Right. So before I start today's session, I have a very fundamental and interesting question for you all. So for this human form of life, the Bhagavad Gita is like a user manual. When you buy an appliance, you get a user manual along with it, to say how to operate the appliance, so that it can perform the best of its function. Similarly, when we have the human body, which is believed to be the most evolved body in the 8.4 million species of life that's been told to exist in our scriptures, this human form or this human body is supposed to be the most advanced, okay, and the most conducive for devotional service or worship, right? So this human body, you need a user manual for the human body as well, right? Because this human body is the most advanced evolutionary form that can exist among all living entities. So the Bhagavad Gita is like that user manual. And in this particular user manual, very important 5 concepts have been explained. Okay. 5 important concepts. So can somebody guess and tell me what are these 5 important concepts in the Bhagavad Gita? We have already looked at nearly 4 of them. Maybe not completely in detail, but yes, we have. So could you all tell me, try and attempt and tell me? I can give you a hint. 3 of those are the 3 doers that we have previously discussed. There are 2 more other than that. So can I get your responses? Either you can unmute or quickly put it in the chat box. So Prashant, let me repeat the question. The Bhagavad Gita has 5 important concepts explained, which is essential to know when you get this human form of life. Okay. So what are these 5 concepts? We've already discussed 4 of them. We've touched upon them. Very good. One of them, Pranav, is God, Ishvara. Excellent. Excellent, Shachi. The second one is Karma. Ishvara has already been told by Pranav. Who are the 3 doers? Jiva, Ishvara, and Prakriti, Indumati. Kudos. Excellent. So, Jiva refers to us. Oh, Ashwath ji. So, you have all, Ashwath ji has got the last and 5th one. Excellent time. So, there are 5 important concepts explained in the Bhagavad Gita. Okay. It's Jiva, meaning us, souls or living entities. Okay. Jiva. Ishvara refers to God. Okay. Ishvara. Prakriti. Prakriti is material nature. Okay. Number 1 is Jiva. Number 2, Ishvara. Number 3, Prakriti. Number 4, the actions. What are the actions that we do? Somebody already mentioned that in the chat box. They are the karma, right? So karma is the 4th concept that we get introduced to. And then finally, we have kala or time. Excellent. So these are the 5 concepts that we have in the Bhagavad Gita. And we have touched upon most of them. Okay. What are the concepts which we have already seen in a little detail, especially in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th chapters? Could you all tell me what we have already touched upon in detail? Please, in the chat box, please. What have we seen in detail already? You don't think there's anything in detail? And it's a very small group today. So even camera shy people can come. And it'll be nice and encouraging for me to see you all. If possible, please come on video. Okay. We have seen about Jiva in detail, yes. So we saw what our real identity is, isn't it? Our real identity is in the form of a soul. We are not this body. We are not the emotions associated with this body. We are not the personality that's associated with this body, but we are the consciousness within this body that is able to experience all the changes around it, right? So that consciousness is the true consciousness that is there within is the soul or the jivatma, or simply called jiva. Okay. So we saw this particular identity, and we already face this misidentity crisis. We identify ourselves with this body, most of us. Okay. So this is something that we have seen in detail already. And this was the first concept introduced in the Bhagavad Gita in the 2nd chapter, the Atma Tattva. Right? Yes, that's about Jiva. Kumarji, yes, Jiva and Karma. Karma is something that we have already seen, and it will continue to come. What are the different types of activities that we can do in terms of food, in terms of deeds? So we will see. We'll see this in the further chapters. Okay, what type of qualities we have gunas. So we will see this. And now I'm going to continue with our discussion of the 10th chapter. So I am trying to share my screen at the moment. And let me see if you all are able to see the screen. Is my screen visible to you all? Could you please confirm that in the chat box? Okay, thank you, Shachi. I can see you now. Thank you. All right. So in the last, yes, thank you all who have confirmed this in the chat box. Prashant, Shivani, Ashwatji, Kumarji, and Karen. Okay, let's quickly recap what we saw in the session on Monday. In the 10th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, okay, this is titled Opulences of the Absolute. Now we saw that God exists. God is a personality. He's not not an idol. He's not a distant light or something inaccessible. He is a personality and he has expanded himself to be present in our hearts, right? Now, what are the qualities that this personality holds? Okay, what qualities does he have? Is explained in this particular chapter, the opulences of the absolute, or it's also called as Vibhuti Yoga. Okay, so the acronym for this chapter is here. Okay, number one, the essence of the Bhagavad Gita. Number one is hearing, and then number two is essence. E stands for essence, A stands for acceptance, and the last one is when we hear about God, when we know what the essence of the Gita is, when we accept the fact that God exists, and we have to surrender in order to understand what this knowledge is, then finally we get a revelation. God reveals things to us. It's not something that we can understand with our limited senses. We also saw what hearing really means. We saw that hearing is very important. It's an essential part of the learning process itself. And when you want to know about somebody, when you are trying to find out who God is, how He has created this, it's important that we hear about Him and constantly we hear about Him, right? So the first shloka shows us what's the process to develop firm faith in Krishna. Second shloka says that even if we develop firm faith, even if we have help from a guru, even if we have association, at the end, it's Krishna's mercy, which is an essential component for us to understand things. It's God's mercy, which is essential. Shloka 3 says, how do we get free from sins? Okay. And 4 to 5, different qualities, are they good or bad? And this good or bad qualities will be explained in great detail in the 16th chapter, so we can wait until then. So people who are convinced that God exists and He has this opulence and mystic power, okay, they engage in unalloyed devotional service. There is no doubt about this, right? And we saw the essence of the Bhagavad Gita, the 8 shlokas, which is the 4 shlokas, which is 8, 9, 10, and 11 from the 10th chapter. Okay, Lord says that I am the source. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. So I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. And the wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. You know that God has created this, you know, God is maintaining this, and He will be the one who will annihilate this. And everything that we get in our lives, we realize that it's not through our efforts, it's not through our parents' mercy. Yes, these things play a role, but ultimately it is God who has provided everything to us. At the time of COVID, most of us realize that things that we get freely, like oxygen in the air, if there is a small distress that comes about, and when you people start putting a price tag on such things, we realize how much God has been helping us. uh, the day there will be water scarcity, similar issue will happen. So COVID was here to teach us beautiful lessons. One of it was this: God is providing us with so many things that we are so ungrateful for, and we might not even be able to survive without those. So it's important for us to realize this, okay? And when we realize that God is present and He's helping us every moment, we develop this faith, unflinching faith, okay? So there are 4 types of faith which we discussed. Faith in Krishna's existence, right? He does exist. It is not some distant, unknown thing, okay? God is not something to speculate about. The creation, the existence of this creation is impossible in the absence of a creator, right? So faith in Krishna's existence. Faith in Krishna's relevance. He is the cause of all causes. He is the sustainer. Like I said, one thing is taken away, just like oxygen in the air, none of us can even survive. Please excuse me for a moment. Right. So I'm sorry for that. So, faith in Krishna's relevance. He is the cause of all causes, he is the sustainer. And faith in Krishna's benevolence, right? Krishna is being so merciful, so many things he has been providing which we are not even aware of, number one. And number two, when they are taken away, like I just gave the example, that's when we realize the importance, right? Okay, and finally, faith in Krishna's intelligence. There may be various things that we are asking Krishna to do for us, but Krishna is aware of our past, present, and what will happen to our, according to our karmas in the future as well. So depending on what is the best for us, he will give that to us. It's not necessary that he provides us with what we ask for. He'll provide us with what we need the most. But for to get this, to get Krishna's help and mercy, although he's present in the heart, he keeps guiding. But for us to be able to accept this guidance, to receive this guidance, it's important that we surrender to Krishna, accept him that he is God, and take his guidance, right? So Krishna as the supreme God has been described. This might sound a little controversial to people. So what God is really looking for is that unalloyed, unconditional love for him. Even if you believe in other gods, it's fine. It's what's more important is you develop that prema bhakti, that loving devotional service. Okay. And yes, so that is the goal of devotion itself, right? Learning from section 1 is here on your slide. Now I want you all to do a quick assignment. Okay. I am going to share a link with you all. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to share a link with you all. I want you to go through the 4 shlokas which are the essence of the Bhagavad Gita, and I'll have a quick question answer session with you based on it. Okay. So you have to go through the translations very quickly. Okay. So I am going to share the screen. Sorry. You can go through the verse, the translation. Okay. I'm removing the purports at the moment because you will not have time to read the entire purports now, but I'm going to share it. 1 second. So I've shared this link in the chat box. Are you all able to see it? So I want you to click on this link and quickly go through verses 8, 9, 10, and 11. Okay. And I'm going to ask a few questions based on the translations, right? I'm going to go off video for a moment, and in 2 minutes, or let me give you 3 minutes. It's 5:17. At 5:20, I will come back and ask you questions. Okay. So quickly go through. Time starts now. Okay. So your time is up. I hope you all could read the purports, or sorry, the translations of shlokas, verses 8, 9, 10, 11, and 11. And the resource that I shared, Veda Base, has the entire Bhagavad Gita book. You can make use of this online resource. It's always going to be available freely, right? Okay, so can you all tell me what's the key takeaways that you got from these 4 shlokas? Because these 4 shlokas are supposed to be the essence of the Bhagavad Gita itself. It's called Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita. The 10th chapters, verses 8, 9, 10, and 11. So yes, it would be nice to know what you understood from these shlokas. What is the key takeaway? Devotion and service. Thank you, Kumarji. Yes. Devotion and service. To whom? To whom? I mean, we always have to serve someone or the other, right? Okay, devotional and service to Lord, to the Lord. Yes, Lord Krishna. Yes, thank you. Right. Who? What else? What did others think? Your perspectives could be very different, and that's why I'm asking you this question. What are the key takeaways that you got from these 4 verses, 8, 9, 10, and 11? What about Indumati ji, Karen, Pranav, Prashant, Shachi, Shivani, Lalita auntie, Ashwath ji? Everything in this world has emanated, I think you mean, has emanated from Bhagavan, and the ultimate goal should be to serve Bhagavan. Okay, yes. Perfect, Pranav. Thank you. Prashant says, Krishna is the source of all spiritual and material existence. Yes, that's in one of the shlokas. Excellent. Ashwath ji, continuous pure devotion leads away to reach God Krishna. Yes, definitely. Definitely. Continuous pure devotion is difficult. We are not able to serve God in with so much love and devotion that it is completely pure. There are no selfish intentions. It's very, very, very difficult when we try to serve God. So initially we are all doing devotion that is a little bit contaminated, let's say. But it's fine. It's fine. Krishna says, I'm happy even if you offer me just one leaf. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati. With devotion in your heart, with love for me, if you offer me even one leaf, one flower, just a drop of water even, I will accept this wholeheartedly. I will accept this as an offering. No, I have told this before also. No lover in the world, in this material world, will ever be happy with you if you go with one leaf to them. Huh? They'll say, okay, it's done. I'm done with you. Isn't it? So that is how Krishna is, right? Although it is like, because we are like children to him, we are his part and parcel. If your little child, even though you're a millionaire, if your little child brings you one small broken shell also, that would still make you happy. But if the child decides to forget you and ignore your existence, imagine how painful that would be, right? So similarly, for God, He's constantly present in our heart. But if we don't acknowledge His presence, if we do not, if we do not show our respect and love for Him, it's a very, even though God is the creator of this whole universe, it's a very painful situation for Him. All that He expects from us is just pure love, loving and devotional service, right? Prashant says, Krishna compassionately guides his devotees, residing within their hearts and illuminating their path with knowledge to overcome ignorance and grow spiritually. Absolutely. Thank you, Prashant. Thank you. Thank you all for those wonderful answers, right? So we will continue our discussion on the 10th chapter and share the slides back again. All right. So the more one hears, it's very important that we first of all stay in association with people who are themselves devotees, who are themselves bhaktas. This will make sure that we constantly hear something or the other about God, because all they like to do is talk about God, right? So the more we hear, the more our faith in God becomes increases, maybe. Okay. To understand Krishna and his teachings, we need Krishna's blessings. Like I said, we are extremely, extremely, extremely fortunate. Because in this whole world, we have such huge population. I don't know what's the current human population. Could someone tell me in the chat box? Is it 7.2 billion or something? Yeah. So the current population level is, I think, 7.2 billion. Yes. Okay, I can reach Loka 11. Right. So in this 7.2 billion population, how many of us know of, God? A lot of there can be a lot of people who don't even know that there is a concept of God, because they're so illusioned by the current day activities. They're so much into social media, into things that are completely away from anything spirituality relates to. Number one. Okay. Among this whole population, how many people would know, would believe that, okay, there is some supernatural power? Majority, I think, whoever believes in God believes this. There is some power, there is something higher power. Okay. They don't know what it is. Some say it is light, some say it is sound, some say it has no form, we don't know, can't describe it. Right? So there are different beliefs. Among these, there would be very small chunk of people who say that yes, God exists and God is a person. Okay, very small. Okay. And among all this whole pool, how many people would have heard about the Bhagavad Gita, you tell me? It's very rare. It's very rare. You might have heard about it. How many people have touched it? You might have touched it. How many people have opened it? How many have read it? So it goes on dwindling, dwindling, dwindling down. Finally, after reading the Bhagavad Gita, okay. Oh, Lord Krishna says he's the creator. All right. Fine. Lord Krishna says that he is the maintainer. Lord Krishna says, I am everything. I've given everything. Oh, fine. अब मेरे को क्या करना है इससे? What do I have to do with it? So भगवान है वो संभाल लेंगे. A lot of people get this attitude. Okay, God's maintaining everything. Now what do I have? I am here to enjoy. That's the attitude. So among all these people who read the Bhagavad Gita, there will be probably one person among thousands of people who decides that, okay, so Krishna is God, so I have to surrender to him and I have to serve him. And this is the takeaway, right? And among these people who decide to surrender, there might be one person who says that, okay, let me start my devotional service to Krishna. So this association, this kind of contact with Bhagavad Gita, or people who serve Lord, or who are people who have firm belief in God, is very, very a fortunate thing. Not everybody gets this kind of association. So you all are very lucky people. I am very lucky. So this is why we're all here. Okay. So that's what it's said here. To understand Krishna and his teachings in the Bhagavad Gita, to even come in contact with it, we need Krishna's blessing. So we are all blessed people. It's a great fortune of the living entity to come in contact with the Bhagavad Gita and associate with devotees. This is given in the third shloka of the 10th chapter. This is a very, very, very rare and thing of extreme fortune to to come in even contact with the Bhagavad Gita even once in your life, right? Right. So the pure devotees, like I said, they always think of God. Their lives are fully devoted to his service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from enlightening one another and conversing about me. It's not like this is somebody who renounces everything, who leaves their family, who leaves all their material possessions, goes to the forest and sits there thinking about Krishna. It's not that. It can be anybody. You can have your family, you can have your friends, you can have everything. But what you discuss is about God. When you talk, when you open your mouth, it's about God. When you eat, before eating, you offer it to God and then you take it. And before offering this food to anybody else, again, you offer it to God and then offer it to them. Right? So you are including God like a family member, like somebody who is there with you in all of your activities. Right? So that is when that is the quality of devotees. Pure devotees do this with unalloyed, no expectations at all. Okay, it's out of pure love. There is no expectation that, okay, you're my family member now, Krishna, so you have to manage everything for me. No, not that. So you do your work, but Krishna is there with you. You acknowledge that and offer your love to him. That is about it, right? The 11th shloka Pranav wanted me to read. Let me see if it's on the slides. Yes, I think it's on the slides. So in the 8th, 9th, 10th and 11th shlokas, the key takeaway from the 8th verse or 8th shloka is, what are Krishna's opulences, right? You would have read the translation of the 8th shloka. I can share it possibly. Yes. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. Then the 9th shloka. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. The 10th shloka coming in the next slide. Are you able to see this that I'm sharing from Veda base? Could somebody confirm this? I'm not able to see what's on the screen. Okay, perfect. Thank you. So in the 9th shloka, to those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding, dadami buddhi yogam tam, by which they can come to me. Okay. So we don't have to be exceptionally great scholars or somebody, belonging to the Brahmin caste or something of the sort, kind of. These are all mythical beliefs that are put into our minds. This did not exist. We have already spoken about what the caste system was and how it has been misconstrued. So God had divided us into various varnas or castes as Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Sudras based on guna and karma, guna karma vibhagasha, not based on birth, based on our inherent quality and personality, number one, and our choice of occupation, what kind of work we do. Depending on that, if we are in the intelligentsia and academic group and those who worship God, we'll come into the Brahmin class. If we are somebody who is into business, we come into the Vaishya class. If we are somebody who is into labor, we are into the Shudra class. As simple as that. It's not by birth, right? So, irrespective of where we come from, which caste we belong to, what is our age, gender, nothing matters. What matters is those who constantly are devoted to serving me with love. If we have love towards God, that's the only thing he looks at, nothing else. He says that I give you the understanding by which you can come back to me, right? You can come to me. This is a very important shloka. तेषां सततयुक्तानां भजतां प्रीतिपूर्वकं ददामि बुद्धियोगं तं येन मामुपयान्ति ते. It's the 10th shloka. God assures us that even if we are not unintelligent, He will give us the intelligence. All He requires is our unconditional love, right? Okay, and the last shloka, which is the essence of the Bhagavad Gita. So, Pranav, I'm reading the 11th one as per your request. तेषामेवानुकम्पार्थम् अहम् अज्ञानजं तमः नाशयाम्यात्मभावस्थो ज्ञानदीपेन भास्वता. Right? So what does this mean? To show them special mercy, I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. So people who love God, who show their unconditional love towards God, what does He do? He gives them the understanding to go back to Him, number one. And He shows His special mercy by constantly dwelling in our hearts. It's for everybody. But for devotees, but for people who show unconditional love towards God, He makes sure that dwelling in their hearts, He not only sits there as a witness, but He also destroys with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. Okay. So when you, especially with this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, it's very, I don't know, I feel it's very mysterious. When you start chanting, things that you might have previously really, really liked, suddenly now do not make any sense to you. Okay. This might sound scary to some people, but it is true. It is true. For me, it is true in my experience. Okay. And from what I've heard from a lot of other people as well. So when we try to do this, when we include God in our lives, when we try to do things for Him, then eventually our likes and dislikes start matching His likes and dislikes. Okay. And it's natural. When you live with somebody, imagine, and you really love this person, you will subconsciously make a lot of changes in your own life, isn't it? Depending on their preferences. Similarly, it does happen when we associate with God and his devotees, we start developing the likings according to his instructions or his preferences, right? His or her. I'm not saying God cannot be female. Okay. Right. So 3 O's to progress in bhakti yoga. This is also very important. What are these 3 O's? Only goal of life, only qualification required, only expectation to fulfill. Other relationships are very, very complicated, isn't it? There are too many things, expectations to fulfill. They expect that, okay, you have to be qualified in this way, that way, you have to meet social expectations, you have to meet physical expectations and stuff like that. So many qualifications, so many expectations, okay, and goals also together, there will be so many. But with this devotional service, it's very simple. One goal, one qualification, and one expectation only. So, what is the goal? To attain the abode of Krishna, to attain Krishna and be in his personal association. Now, in this material world, he is not physically present, he is there in his own abode. For us, the idea of this human life is to go back to that abode where he personally exists. Okay. And we have to serve him here, we have to serve him there also. It's not that we'll be on a king's throne, but we're serving the creator of the whole universe. So it's nothing different from being on a king's throne, right? The only goal is to go back to Krishna. The only qualification, just be sincere and love him unconditionally. The only qualification is unconditional love. Devoted to the activities of devotional service. What do we mean by devotional service? It is this unconditional love and service to God. Right? Only expectation to fulfill whatever work we do it with love. Just work for Krishna. Whatever work you do, it doesn't matter. He never tells you that do this, do that. No. Whatever you're doing, you're going for a job, just think of Krishna and say that whatever I do in my job today, let me dedicate this to you, Krishna, with love. That's it. I'm cooking. Today I'm making pasta. Okay. Krishna, let me make it in such a way. Let me make it. Apparently, my friend here made pasta today. He just came out. So whatever you make, even if it's today I'm making pasta, Krishna, let it be this pasta, let it be in such a way that you really like it. Maybe let me make it in such a way that you enjoy eating this pasta and offer it to you, right? So that's all. Whatever you do in daily life, that's it. Krishna, I'm going to this place today. You come along and, we will have a good time there, and let this experience be nice for both of us. It's as simple as that. Okay. So whatever you're doing, just include Krishna there, dedicate it with love. So that is the only expectation. That's it. Very simple. So what are the learnings from section 2? If one wants to progress in this Krishna consciousness means what? Just being conscious of the presence of Krishna with you constantly. That's it. That is Krishna consciousness. It is not something to be scared of. Especially back in India, they'll be like, अरे हरे कृष्णा वाले तुमको सन्यासी बना देंगे. These people from the Krishna consciousness movement would come and just give you ochre garbs and everything you will be leaving and going behind it. They'll brainwash you. It's not that. It's not that. It's just experiencing love of Krishna and knowing that, being conscious of the fact that God is with us every single moment. Right? That's all. Nothing else. So devotees don't waste time in mundane things. Rather, they utilize their time in hearing and conversing about Krishna. So what is happening around us will not affect us when we realize that Krishna is there constantly to support us. When we know that we are never alone, any situation in life is not going to be challenging because we have this huge protector with us, who has the capability to handle anything. So it gives a very it makes us feel protected and confident in ourselves, right? So devotees do not waste time in mundane things. One should be sincere and should perform some sort of work for Krishna with love. That's it. Okay, let's quickly run through. Section 3 is acceptance. Okay, 12 to 18. So Arjuna says, describe your opulence. Okay, Krishna, you're the creator. I am the goal of everything. Devotees constantly think of me. Fine. But describe your opulences, describe your qualities. You're telling constantly, we have to think, but how shall I think of you constantly? This is what Arjuna is asking. How shall I know you? Genuine questions by Arjuna. So, what is important for us to accept this fact that Krishna is the creator? What Krishna is, Krishna is the most powerful person. He has these opulences. What is important for this acceptance is transformation of our mind and heart. Okay, our mind and heart has become like stone, okay, rigid stone, because we have gone through so many lifetimes of conditioning in this material world. We are so much illusioned that this body is everything, and everything that we gather while we are in this body, houses, people, jewelry and stuff like that, everything that we gather is the most important. Our hearts and minds are so rigid like stone. But what does Krishna steal? Krishna is called the thief of what? Yes, Aparna has told me the correct answer. Krishna is called Makhan Chor. Okay, he used to steal butter as a child when he incarnated in the world, right? So, for Krishna to steal our hearts, how should our hearts become? Our hearts are like stone at the moment, so much into material conditioning. Our hearts have to soften and become like butter. And when our hearts become soft like this freshly churned butter, kind and warm, exactly, kind and warm towards everybody, all living entities, knowing that Krishna is there in their hearts too. Okay. So when our hearts become so soft like butter, Krishna comes and steals it away. So we need this transformation of our heart and mind in order to be able to accept Krishna. How to constantly think of Krishna? Arjuna asked this question. So for that, we need to make Krishna the center of our life. We need to include God in our life. Think of him like a family member, right? So that is when we're constantly able to, think our mind. We have to train our mind, do this. And one very easy way is to include Krishna in our life. We have to follow Arjuna's footsteps. And Bhakti is the most joyful and fruitful process. It's the most joyful process because it's a journey of love. uh, Journey of love in this material life. Initially, there is joy, then there is heartbreak. But in Krishna's case, in this case, there will not be heartbreak because Krishna never leaves our hand, never. Right? Arjuna says in the 12th shloka, Param Brahma Param Dhama Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Shashwatam Divyam Adi Devam Ajam Vibhum. You are the supreme personality of Godhead, O Krishna, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. Even the great sages such as Narada, Asita, Devala, Vyasa, they confirm this truth about you. And you yourself are now declaring it to me. Arjuna is saying this. Okay. In this is an important shloka. This is shloka number 12 in the 10th chapter. So why did Arjuna ask? Arjuna knew about Krishna, but why is he asking these questions? I told you in the last session. Because he wants people like us to know about Krishna. Okay. People like us also to realize that who Krishna is, what are his qualities, so that while we overhear this conversation or read this conversation between Arjuna and Krishna, we get enlightened in the process for this sake, for common people like us. Okay. So Arjuna is asking these questions for common people, also for the sake of devotees who taste the nectar. Okay. People who are in love over and over again, you've already seen this person's picture once. Okay. Scroll back, see the picture again. If it's something irrelevant, you'll be like, oh, why is this popping up again and again? But if you really love this person, you're seeing that same picture of this person the nth, 10,000th time. But still, you're still looking at it like that, with so much, with, what to say, what to call it, apple eyes, or what to call this, I don't know. You're seeing it like you're seeing it for the first time, right? With so much attention and love. That's exactly what devotees experience. So when you hear about Krishna, you're listening to the same thing again, but every time you feel more happy when you listen to it. The bliss increases. Okay. And then for personal absorption, like we discussed in the 8th chapter, the final exam is death. And it's important that at the time of death, we are able to think of God. Okay. But for devotees who have served Krishna all their lives, Krishna assures that at the time of death, even if you are not able to think of me, I will personally come and take you along. I will guide you. Do not worry. But in general, for everybody, the test is that we need to think of God at the time of leaving this body, and then we will go back to the abode that God is in. Right. So, learnings from section 3, we have to accept Krishna as the supreme pure. When we make ourselves, when we when we realize this truth, we make ourselves accept this fact, eventually our heart and mind transforms. Okay, there is a transformation of heart and mind. Maybe things that we never had control earlier of becomes very easy to control. We will experience this kind of transformation. Bhagavad Gita should be understood in the parampara system. This is also very important. Even people like Hitler have written translations for the Bhagavad Gita. Okay. So there are lots of misinformation and misinterpretation of our scriptures, especially the Bhagavad Gita. Be very, very careful while you're reading any of the translations. It's important that this comes in the Guru Shishya succession or disciplic succession, parampara system, right? Then it is passed down from the proper Acharya lineage. Then hearing about Krishna is fruitful only when a person practically performs bhakti. Okay. You only hear about Krishna, but you don't want to serve. Okay, you don't want to do bhakti. Simply you're okay with hearing. That's not enough, right? In love, it's not just you keep hearing about this person. Eventually, you have to approach, you have to give them a gift, you have to call them for a conversation, isn't it? There is no progress otherwise. Similarly, in devotional service, just hearing will not be fruitful. We have to perform, we have to show that we love Krishna, right? That's the thing. Then finally in section 4, Krishna reveals his opulences to Arjuna. How can we see Krishna? How is it possible? Our senses are so limited. It is not possible to understand Krishna by our limited senses or our limited mind. But we can realize Krishna, how he resides in our heart. He knows what we are experiencing. He knows what we are undergoing. He knows what our feelings are. So looking at our pure love, looking at our efforts to serve him, he decides to, shower his mercy upon us, and he decides to reveal this intelligence and knowledge to us. He reveals this knowledge to us, gives us the intelligence, and he assures of this in the previous shlokas, right? So everything that's beautiful, opulent, powerful, it springs from Krishna and his energy, right? So he describes in the shloka, among the great sages, I am Bhrigu. Of the vibrations, of the sound vibrations, I am the supreme transcendental sound vibration, Om. Okay. Of sacrifices, I am of all the yajna, of all types of sacrifices, I am the chanting of the holy names. I am Sankirtana yajna or Japa yajna. The most supreme of all sacrifices, especially for this age, is considered to be the Japa yajna, chanting of the holy names. And Krishna says this in the 10th chapter, the 25th verse. Okay. So chanting is not something imaginary and with no scientific backing. Krishna himself has approved of it. And of immovable things, I am the Himalayas. So what's the connection between this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and Om? Krishna says, of the sound vibrations, I am the transcendental Om, right? So of all transcendental vibrations, Omkara or Om represents Krishna. And the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is one of the purest representations of Krishna, because in one syllable, if you have to describe it, is Om. But when we say Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, we're addressing not just Krishna, but his energy as well. Krishna is the energetic, the person who possesses the energy. But Hare, when we say Hare, we are addressing Srimati Radharani, who is Krishna's energy. Okay, so we are addressing the complete entity while we say Hare Krishna. So it is good to greet when you see somebody. When you see somebody in this Krishna consciousness culture, we don't say hi, bye. We say Hare Krishna. We say Hare Krishna. Why? Because we are addressing not this person alone. We are addressing this jiva, and we are also addressing this presence of Krishna inside and his energy inside them. We're saying Hare Krishna. Okay. We pay obeisances to you, your Krishna in you, and energy of Krishna in you, right? So it's important that when we get this realization, when God gives this realization to us, we are able to see Krishna everywhere. Okay. And in the 6th chapter, verse 30, Krishna confirms that Yomam pashyati sarvatra sarvam cha mayi pashyati tasyaham na pranashyami sacha me na pranashyati. For a person who is able to see Krishna in everything and everywhere, he never leaves this person. He never lets go of this person, and nor this person lets go of Krishna anytime. Okay. So this Krishna assures this in the 30th shloka. Krishna is constantly with such a person who is able to see him everywhere. Right. So anything that you see is a creation of Krishna. And we are able to see this. For us to be able to develop this realization, it's important that we develop a deep relationship with Krishna. When we constantly call out to Krishna by chanting this mantra, Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, when we constantly engage in devotional service, we are able to make this connection. Every day you talk to someone, and it's recommended that this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is chanted 16 rounds every day. Means one round is 108 times of chanting this Maha Mantra. 16 rounds is 16 into 108. Okay. So when we do this, it takes nearly 2 hours. So every day we are spending 2 hours with Krishna if we do a 16 round chanting. Eventually, as we do this, we're spending more and more time with Krishna. Things start getting revealed in our heart. We develop an intelligence that we never imagined we could have. Okay, without qualifications, without material even a person who is illiterate can develop this intelligence, because it does not come through degrees or education. It comes through revelation in your heart, right? So that is the power of chanting. Everybody who was a great devotee, Narad Muni, what he used to say all the time. When anybody sees him, Narayan, Narayan. He's angry at anybody, Narayan, Narayan. Huh? He sees something fishy, Narayan, Narayan. So anything, what did he resort to? The names, the holy names. What did Prahlad Maharaj do? When Prahlad Maharaj was put into a well of poisonous snakes, when he was put under the feet of a mad elephant, when he was thrown into fire, when he was pushed from a cliff, what he said? He said, Sri Hari. He said, Krishna. He took the names of the Lord. That's what he did. That is the power of the holy name. It is not a joke. Krishna says that I have put all my energies into my name. So if you take my name, it is as equivalent as my personal presence, right? So seeing Krishna everywhere is the takeaway from this 10th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. We need to purify our senses to appreciate the Krishna's greatness, because our senses are very limited and covered by illusory energy and dust. For us to be able to see this, our senses must be purified. And for that, it's important with that again, we constantly chant the name, and the name itself can purify. We can overcome our ignorance and get this intelligence. So, with a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. Is what Lord Krishna says to Arjuna. With a single fragment, he can pervade and support this entire universe that exists. So what is the conclusion from this chapter? We learned how to concentrate on Krishna by constantly hearing about him. And bhakti is not a distressful process. Bhakti is a very joyful and fruitful process. But for it to work, for us to experience this joy, just hearing is not enough. We have to implement this practically in life. Number one thing is, before eating, please offer it to God and then eat. When you're cooking, think of God and then cook. So all your other thoughts, it's believed that when the person who's cooking, whatever they think, that also those emotions play a role in the food. Okay. And it influences the person who eats this food. So if we think of God while we are cooking, if we are able to offer food to God and then accept it ourselves, it makes a huge difference. Similarly, whatever we get, we buy something new. Let's say you got a new shirt. Just go keep it near Krishna and say, see, we purchased this new shirt. Do you like it? Show it to him and keep it there, and then wear it yourself. So you're offering it, showing it to him, you're acknowledging his presence, right? So that is practicing bhakti in daily life. Only by practicing can we experience this joy. Okay. We have to accept the message that's given in the Bhagavad Gita as Arjuna has accepted. Okay. The only qualification required is eagerness to serve and love. Love of God. That's it. And that is the only qualification we require to progress further in bhakti. So this is the overview of the 10th chapter Vibhuti Yoga. Hearing, okay. Essence, 3 O's in the Bhakti Yoga. Only qualification, only expectation, and what's the other O? I myself have forgotten. Only qualification, only goal of life, and only expectation to fulfill. Right. A is for acceptance. What did we understand from all of this? It's important that we accept what is being told. We should not have a challenging attitude. It's very much encouraged in our shastras to ask questions. All our scriptures, if you see Upanishads, if you see the darshanas, it is all question answer, question answer. Even the Bhagavad Gita is a question answer, question answer. Why? Because in our culture of Hinduism, questioning is considered essential. Okay. We have to be curious, we have to question, but not challenging the person who is in front of us, but knowing the fact that we ourselves do not know, we are ignorant. And in order to gain that knowledge with humble surrender to the person in front of us, we ask this question with humility, okay, and curiosity, and it's answered back, not in a challenging sense, right? So we have to accept what's given in the Bhagavad Gita. And final revelation is the potency of Krishna is unlimited. So when we practice this bhakti and try to develop loving service towards Krishna, he will shower his mercy upon us and give us the intelligence and reveal things to us. No other qualification is required, just unconditional love, right? So try to chant whenever you're in distress, whenever you need support. God is there. Not just when you're in distress. It's like when only when you need him, you're approaching God. That's a very I don't know, very business deal kind of way, right? When you need something, only then you go to this person. It should be a daily affair. Try to chant at least 108 times this Maha Mantra every day. Okay, it's 108 times is just 5 minutes. 5 minutes of 24 hours. Can't we give to God? Can't we just take his holy names? Because these names have all the energy of the Lord. He confirms this. And it is as close to being in the personal presence of God as possible. Okay. When we chant the name, God is personally present with us, sitting in front of us and listening to us. Okay. So it's a personal meeting and association with God, right? So please chant with me and chant whenever try to chant every day. Whenever you find time, try to chant. We are trying to give our time to Krishna. This shows our love. So let us chant together. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you. So that was the end of today's session. And we'll quickly do the live quiz right now. Okay, sorry, we are a little behind schedule, but yes, we can do the quiz. Please be on your chat box. All right. And I'm going to ask your first question in a minute. Right. Right. So the goal is to make our hearts like butter. So that Krishna comes and steals away this butter. And to make our hearts like butter, we have to constantly associate with Krishna. Only Krishna can turn stone into butter. No other human or no other superpower or anything you can think of can do that. So with that faith, when we chant the holy names, when we serve with love and devotion, it will happen, the transformation. Okay, right. Right. First question from the 10th chapter. I hope all of you are on the chat box. Okay. First question is, what is the message in the 8th shloka of the 10th chapter? Sorry, it might be a little difficult for the first question. What does 8th shloka of the 10th chapter, 8th verse of the 10th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, what is described in this? The person who answers the quickest. You can answer in a sentence. Right. Okay. Okay, everything emanates from me. Right, right. So I'll give you a little more time because this question is a little complicated. For others who couldn't make sense, I'm just asking, what was your takeaway from the 8th verse of the 10th chapter? Right. Thank you. I can see Karen's response. Indumati, you can expand your answer. It's just a word, so it's difficult to make sense. Kumarji, yes. Okay, excellent. It's nice to see your interpretations of it. Right, Ashwatji. Okay. Right. Let's take another 5 seconds for other people if they'd like to answer. Okay. Right. So in the countdown of 5, we'll go to the next question. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Right. Second question in the live quiz. When will Krishna reveal himself to us? This is also a little subjective. You can answer whatever you feel is right. Okay. When will Krishna reveal himself to us? Kartikeya has given his answer. Absolutely. Right. Right. What about others? When do you think Krishna will reveal himself to us or reveal himself to you? This is also the only qualification required. Yes. Ashwath ji has this beautiful answer. When our heart becomes like butter, he'll come and steal it. Right. No, sorry, I didn't mean to. I mean, this is not something to laugh. This is very serious. Our hearts are very, very. We have become so much conditioned. Okay, we are not able to trust anything. We are all guarded. Our heart is guarded by castles and walls of things. So many layers. When we are able to make our heart like butter, only then. Yes. Only those who surrender to Him in love can expect to see Him in person. Yes. By His will, His good wishes. Yes. It's a lovely answer. When we surrender with devotion and unconditional love. Perfect, Karen. Yes. Surrender with love and devotion. Service with unconditional love. Remembering Him always. We can feel Him. Excellent. Excellent answers by all of you. Thank you all. If anybody else is waiting to answer, can take 5 seconds. When we surrender to Him, understand that He is the controller and enjoyer, and love Him unconditionally, remembering Him always, then He will reveal things to us. Yes, perfect. This is what Krishna says. Excellent. Okay, so the last live quiz question today. I wanted to keep this subjective in all of your perspectives. Okay, so the last live quiz question for today is, what is the only qualification? What's the only qualification required in bhakti? Similar to what we've been asking before. And this will be a one-word answer. What is the only 1 or 2 words? What is the only qualification required in bhakti? Okay. This is very interesting because everybody has different answers, a little bit different now. Okay. Excellent. Yeah. Any more perspectives or any more answers? Okay. Right. Devotion. Perfect. Devotion, love, unconditional love, being sincere, faith, service, unconditional love, willingness, loving Him and being in His smaran. So, right, willingness to learn. Okay. Unconditional devotional love. Okay. Thank you all for those amazing answers. All of them are counted. So there is no wrong or no right answer for the questions that I've asked you today. Okay. Except for the first one, I think, and all of you have been giving correct answers. So it's no wrong or right answer for today's session. So I will announce the winners. Thank you all for engaging in this live chat. So I will announce the winners for today's and Monday's live chat today. And this chapter's quiz is very, very exciting because there are some very important questions in the quiz. So please attempt the quiz for this chapter. I would be sharing that in the group. Okay. And I am taking this opportunity, since you people are the cohort who are very, very consistently attending the classes, and you have some kind of special mercy by which you are present, okay, by which you are attending. And so I would like to invite you all, or you're all cordially invited to be part of our certificate giving away ceremony. And I'm sure I'm waiting to see you all to give away the certificates to you, if that's a possibility. If you can come to Dundee on the 24th Saturday, okay? On Saturday, the 24th of June, okay? Our course ends tentatively on the 14th. It might end a couple of days here and there later. But on 24th June, we're having this ceremony where we will have speakers coming down from ISKCON Scotland. There will be a beautiful musical concert. Artists will be dancing, and we'll have a discussion on Bhagavad Gita and how Bhagavad Gita transforms our life, and also on sustainability, which is a current day issue, but there is so much in the Bhagavad Gita related to sustainability, so much in our scriptures about this. So we'll discuss about that. Okay, and some goodies and prizes to give away to everybody. And it'll be very nice to catch up with you all and get together and give you these certificates. So please attempt all the quizzes and try to be present with us on the 24th. Okay. If there's any queries that you have or any difficulties, do let me know in advance and we can assist you with it. We will publish the timings and the agenda of events very soon in the group. Okay. We have tentatively planned it to be from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. It's a whole day of activities. There will be food also. There'll be prasadam. Please join us if you all can. Right. And I'm very happy to take any of your questions right now. Do any of you have questions from this chapter? From the 10th chapter or anything before this? Any questions? You can unmute or you can put it in the chat box. Right? No questions? You're all already in love, is it? Thinking of Krishna already, forgetting what's going on in class. Okay, okay. No questions at all. Right. Okay. I have a question for you, and I'd love to know how many of you have been able to chant at least one round of the Maha Mantra? I think last class I did mention that if you do get time, just spend these 5 minutes chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra 108 times. How many of you have been able to do this? Okay, Kartikeya said.
May I say something, if that's okay? I'm sorry,
Yes.
I'm barging it unceremoniously.
No, absolutely. Go ahead.
I've been actually chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra for 108 times since the last class. I did it on Monday and I did it on Tuesday.
Excellent.
And I plan to continue doing it every day.
Oh.
So it's strange in a way where, I don't know, this is just with me. Every time I hit the fifth, like when like I'm counting 3 rounds per finger and 4 fingers, right? So whenever I hit the fifth knot, every time it clicks. It's weird. Like every time I hit that, I get a blast image. Like since I see black all the time, I see a blast image. A very So I remember I have this huge picture of a life-size picture of Lord Krishna back home. Him playing the flute, resting his back on a cow. So I get the blast of that picture every time I hit the 5. So I don't know, it's weird. And like, this is another strange thing. I don't know if you can maybe enlighten me about this. I start off at a very quick pace, like Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. At this pace, if by the time I go to the 10th one, it becomes like Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And it becomes very automatically like that. I don't know why, but it becomes like that.
No, it's excellent. It's excellent if it becomes like that. Thank you for sharing that, Dipanshu.
Thank you so much.
I mean, if you're able to if you're able to reduce your what to say, if you're able to reduce your speed, it just indicates you're becoming more calm while you're chanting, right? And it indicates that Krishna is present there and working on you, working with you, present with you. Right? In the presence of somebody who is very, very I mean, who's the creator of all universes. Imagine how initially you might feel nervous, but then later on you feel protected and you feel happy, isn't it? You feel calm. So that's how it is, and it's very good. And yes, initially it can be very, very a turbulent feeling for some people. Like I when I started chanting, it was like that for me. I used to feel very disturbed, okay, and feel very, very distracted while I'm chanting, and it's absolutely normal, because it's like your heart is being cleansed. This whole stone walls around your heart are being broken. So that will create some turbulence, and it is a good sign. If you are feeling that, it's fine as well. Yeah.
No, I'm not feeling any turbulence because of the fact that I used to chant for years. Like I've been chanting for years. I didn't chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra before, but since I had my Jane, like what do you call this? Jane in Hindi? Jane,
Janeyu. Yeah, yeah.
Jane, right? So I had a proper ceremony done way back when I was a kid,
Yeah.
and my guru told me to chant the Gayatri mantra. So I have to chant it every day, and I chant it since then every day. So I do that, and I also do the Shiv mantra. I wear a Mahamrityunjay Kavach, which has been passed on in my family for generations. So I have to chant that mantra. So I'm used to chanting.
Okay.
I
Right, right.
So because I've been indicated or directed to do so by my family and my family purohits, so I do that. I've been doing it for years and years. But so this is just in addition to all of that. But so I don't feel distressed. But I try and go through it very quickly when I start.
Yeah.
But I don't know what happened. Like by the time I hit the 10th time, it becomes very slow because I
That's good.
lose track of time, kind of.
Okay, that's very good. That's very nice. Thank you. You are, and in this practice of Krishna consciousness, it's not required that you let go of any of your existing practices. Not at all. It's not at all required. If you're chanting something already, you can continue that, but also chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra alongside. If you're doing something, if you're used to doing something already, just alongside that, also include offering bhoga, offering food to God. When you buy something, offer it to God first, then use it. Very simple things. And Kumarji and Kartike, excellent. I'm very happy to see that you've been chanting. Please continue and try and do it every day. I request all others. You all are very fortunate to have had this contact and association, and I am very fortunate to be with you all. So it's my humble request that you also at least 5 minutes a day, just Hare Krishna Maha Mantra 108 times. That's it. It's not going to take too much time. Just try and do this, and let me know how you feel in the next week on Monday. Okay, try to do it every day, just 5 minutes, 108 times, preferably if possible in the morning. As soon as you wake up, you can do it. If time permits and if you feel that's good, as soon as you wake up, just get up and do it. Otherwise, you'll fall asleep again. It's very calming. So just get up, sit up, and chant 108 times, and it'll bring a transformation by the time you meet me next week. And I'm sure of this. Please try and let me know. Okay. Kumarji asks, what is the significance of the Sanatan scriptures you had forwarded on WhatsApp? Okay, okay. So, I mean, I did not forward any Sanatan scriptures. I think I shared one leaflet, which is by very senior people and devotees who have been in this practice of Krishna consciousness for a long time. So they have written a few write-ups, and it's very inspiring too. Short write-ups. It's not scriptures as such. And then I think later on I shared something about the time scale, Kala. Okay, I always said that relativity and time difference has been described in our scriptures in great detail. So there are different measures that are described in our scriptures, and this particular This particular forward that I received had very good description of everything. Okay. So I just shared that. I mean, it's just a list, but it's not an exhaustive description. But this concept itself is very interesting. So Truti means 29 milliseconds in our scriptures. Prana means, prana also has other meanings, but prana in the time scale means 4 seconds. Vinadi means 24 seconds. Nadi means 24 minutes. A muhurta, often in marriages, in weddings in the Indian system, you would have heard of muhurta. So it's a time duration of 48 minutes. Yama is a time duration, not the Yamaduta and the Yama himself. Yama in this time means 3 hours. Okay. Similarly, the Yuga time period has been given. The Kali Yuga is 432,000 years. And Treta Yuga is double that of Kali Yuga. Dwapara Yuga is double that of Treta Yuga. And Satya Yuga is double that of Dwapara. So it goes on doubling with each Yuga. And this whole, all the 4 Yugas together form a Chatur Yuga, right? Or Mahayuga. And 71 such Chatur Yugas together form something called a Manvantara. Okay. So each of the 71 Mahayugas is governed by or looked after by a person called Manu, and they have different names. Okay, there are 71 Manus. The current Manvantara is governed by Vaivasvata Manu. So it's called Vaivasvata Manvantara. Okay. And 14 such Manvantaras together form one Kalpa. Okay. This is the time scale in our Vedic scriptures, and it has been described and it was very nicely summarized in this forward. So I just share that there, Kumarji. I hope that helps. For the time scale descriptions, I can discuss this maybe in a different session. We'll see. It's very interesting. There are stories where people traveled to Brahma Loka and millions of years had passed on the earth. So when they came back, nothing was there. So yes, a lot of such descriptions exist, and we can discuss this at a later period in time. Right. All right. Any other questions? Or if no questions, we can end it here. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Huh.
Yes.
Now unmuted.
I have one question.
Mhm.
If I may.
The host has.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah. I heard about since you talked about the Muhurta, there was one nakshatra called the Abhijit Nakshatra, the Abhijit Muhurta, which is talked about in the Mahabharata. So, in some places, I've read that that's the most pious or the most powerful Muhurta, which is talked about. And on other scriptures, on certain places, I've read that Sri Krishna himself that said that he is the master of that Muhurta. So, he is technically that Muhurta. So, there is a saying that Duryodhana wanted to start the battle of Kurukshetra at that Muhurta from his side so that he wins, but it was not allowed to happen by Lord Sri Krishna. So he probably had control over it, obviously. So is he, in terms of he's the one who controls a muhurta, or is it just a muhurta like the other muhurtas, and he's in control of all of them together, or is that individually a specific muhurta under his control?
In the Brahma Samhita, there is a description. Yasya prabhavena brahmati sambrita kala chakro govindam adipurusham tamaham bhajami. By whose guidance, by whose direction the entire wheel of time rotates, the entire wheel of time progresses, I offer my humble obeisances to that Lord Govinda. This Brahma Samhita is prayers recited by Lord Brahma. Okay, Lord Brahma himself has said this. Yasya prabhavena sambriti sambhramati sambrita kala chakro govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Would have heard this in temples. So, what one muhurta, all muhurtas, all the entire time, the wheel of time, the entire time cycle is under his control. What about one muhurta, right? So yeah, there are different descriptions, but everything is under his control and under his directions that time progresses and passes. If he wishes, time can stop. If he wishes, it can go backwards. So when Lord Krishna incarnated, so the usual order is Satya Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Treta Yuga, and then Kali Yuga. But what happened in this particular cycle of Chatur Yugas, the cycle got a little bit changed. Satya Yuga, after Satya Yuga, directly it was Treta Yuga. And then Dwapara Yuga came when Krishna incarnated, and then Kali Yuga came. So changes in the time cycle have been observed a lot of times when Krishna willed it to happen, when Lord willed it to happen. So what about one muhurta? Even each second is under his control. Even a blade of grass doesn't move without his will. So that is what is given in our scriptures, right? It is all what we need to do is just accept this fact, not think that everything is under our control, not try to take everything under our control, because that is foolishness. It's not possible. We do not have that kind of power. But when we serve him with loving devotion, it is said that Lord Krishna, he says that I am the servant of my devotees. For those who serve him with true love and devotion, he will serve you back. He will serve you. Then the person who controls the entire time cycle is under your control. You can imagine, right? That's how it is. Thank you for that question, Diptanshu. I hope I could answer it. So I think we are now.
Oh dear, now
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
leave my
We'll now wrap up the session. Thank you all for sticking around for such a long time. And let me know if you all can make it on the 24th through DMs. Okay, I'll be waiting for your response, and I'll share the quiz tonight at 10:30 p.m. Okay. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Thank you, Karen. So we'll end the session with a prayer. You all can join me in the prayer. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhe evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta koti vaishnav vrind ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. See you next week on Monday.